Okay, question 5, part A is the same technique as with question 3, part A, except this time you're going to be replacing sine squared with 1 minus cos squared x. Apart from that, have a look at question 3A. Question B is then the same technique as question 3B. So now we're using, it said hence question, so we're using part A, and part A told us that 6 cos squared x plus cos x minus 1 equals 0. This is a quadratic equation. So let's see if this one factorises. Well, it's minus 1 on the end, so that's got to be 1 and 1. Now we've got 6 cos x, so that could be 1 and 6 or 3 and 2. However, I want a difference of 1 to get the plus cos x in the middle. So 3 cos x, 2 cos x. I want plus x in the middle, so I want the 3 multiplied by plus and the 2 multiplied by negative 1. This tells me that cos x equals a third, or negative a half. This I'm going to check the question. The question is in radians, and they say 2 decimal places where appropriate. So if I use my calculator for the first one, we do inverse cos of a third. Now this is not a multiple of pi, so to make sure I keep my accuracy, it wants the final answer to 2 decimal places, so I'm just going to write this to 4 decimal places for now. So it's a cos equation, second solution, 2 pi minus the first solution. So in my calculator, I can now do, move it out of the way, right, 2 pi minus the answer to keep accuracy, and I'm going to get 5.0522. Similarly, I'm also going to do inverse cos of negative a half, which gives me 2/3 pi. Second solution for that one is 2 pi minus 2/3 pi, which gives me 4/3 pi. As I've only got x and the range is 0 to 2 pi, I'm expecting 2 solutions for each part. So 2 solutions for cos x equals a third and 2 solutions for cos x equals minus a half. Okay, and then my final line, I'm going to round as they asked, so they wanted 2 decimal places as appropriate. So if something's exact value, multiple of pi, we just leave it as an exact multiple of pi. Then we come on to part C. Now part C says hence, and it also says write down. So that means we should be able to do this without too much effort. Let's have a look at the question. So in this question, we started off with 6 sine squared x minus cos x minus 4 equals 1. Now in part C, I've got a very similar equation, except we've got 2x instead of x. They've also, quite conveniently, halved the range of values which I want my answers for x. So now instead of 2 pi, we're going 0 to pi. Now that helps me because now I know that from part B, when you solve the equation with x in it, I've got the answers 1.23, 5.05. In fact, I'm going to be more accurate and use my one that I had in my line of working. 2/3 pi, 4/3 pi. The only difference is in part C, that's 2x instead of x. So to get the final answers, I'm just going to halve everything. And so now we're going to have 0.62, 2.53, 1/3 pi, and 2/3 pi. And because they halve the range, halving all the answers means they automatically end up between 0 and pi, which was asked for.